We are live.
Hello, we did it.
Hello. I know. We a little behind the scenes secret. We were just really laughing like 2 minutes before I pushed the button. So I
That's
almost
when you know it's going to be great because we were already having a good time
we
before
were
we went live,
already
right?
we were already having fun. So Jaleesa, I have goosebumps galore that you're
Oh,
here. I am so excited, honored. This is like dream come true stuff.
oh,
I'm
girl,
so grateful.
you truly have no idea. You don't even know how much you've impacted my life. So that'll come up through this too. So,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, oh, okay.
you've
Well, right back at
inspired
you.
me for sure.
Well, I was telling Jaleesa because we visited for a few minutes before, um, that and she's like, what are we doing? And I said, I don't know. No. I said part of the reason I've been going live on Fridays with friends of mine, people in my world, my like I call them power partners, people who make my life better and are having an impact on me and the world. Um, because these are people who are pursuing a purpose and a passion, and you're one of them.
Oh, you're
You
so
are one
sweet.
of them, and it's if I find it so inspiring to be around people like you, people who have found something that they love and enjoy. And so my hope is in us just sharing our stories about how different we are, how we are very much the same in so many ways, why we're pursuing our passion, why it's important to us, what kind of an impact we want to have on the world, that it just sends that energy, which is, we're
Yeah.
here to talk about energy, it sends that energy out into the world. And so that's my hope for this. And I know whoever is here receives it and will enjoy it. And so
And so
Jaleesa,
it is.
and so it
And
is.
so
Oh, I
it is.
love that. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So,
Yeah.
Jaleesa, I met you really in person probably only about a year and a bit ago,
Yeah, it was
but
February of 2022.
22. Yes, so just right.
Mhm.
And before that, we'd been on Zooms together. We talked on the phone. We've got a lot of friends in common. We're both health coaches, and that's how we met.
Yes.
And that's one little piece of our lives. We live kind of close to each other, but not in the same city. And that was about kind of where our paths intersected, and that was all we knew we had in common until we really truly met in person,
Yeah.
and then discovered we had so much more in common. But I don't know that much about your story, which, you're a busy mom, and I'm a busy mom, and I think that's why, because when we talk, we're kind of there to get stuff done. And
Yeah.
so will you share your story, as much for me as everyone else, your story and how you've ended up where you are now, and tell us about what you're doing. Tell us about your passion.
Oh, goodness. Well, I almost feel like I need to start from when we met.
Uh-huh.
But you kind of tell me, where do you want me to start from?
So tell me a little bit. You're married, you've got children.
Yes. I've been
You
married a little over 21 years. I have two kids.
Mhm.
Addison is 16 and Cole is 14. So mine are closer to leaving the nest than they are little people, which now in life I can see everything fell into place kind of when it needed to. Like this is
Mhm.
starting as my kids are. I mean, you always need a mom. I'm 45 and my mom still checks on me, right? Like,
Right,
I mean, as long as your mom's still breathing, she's usually checking on you.
right, right.
But as your children get older, they don't need you the way they did when they were little.
Mhm.
So that's cool to even see that perspective now.
Mhm.
So I was a pre med major in college years ago. And I had some health issues in college that I was a junior, and we kind of had this come to Jesus meeting, my parents and myself, and they were like, we will totally support you if this is what you really want to do. but I don't know if your health can take another 8 years of stress and schooling. And if you really do want to be a mom, like, is it really worth it? And that's kind of always been my passion. Like, since I was little, like, known I wanted to be a mom. Um, and so I ultimately decided I did not want to go on to medical school, and kind of shifted my what I was going to do in life and all the things. And even now, like, I have a quote in my closet and I read it every morning, that says the most important work you will ever do is within the walls of your home. And I truly believe that. So anybody who's a parent, mom or dad, like, shout out to you, because that is the hardest job. It's a never ending job. Um, but the people that are in your house and how you're raising them, those are the little humans that are going out into the world to make a difference. And my goal is to raise good humans, that are kind and compassionate and, want to open the door for a stranger and give a smile. So that is my number one passion in life. And then now being able to share the tips and tricks I've learned to raise your energy, like sharing that with everybody, because who doesn't want to feel just a smidgen better, right? So that's kind of how all of this has come together. I had a concussion in 2018. So I was 40, almost 41. And I mean, it rocked my world. Like, didn't cook, didn't drive, didn't see my children. It was really horrible. And 6 months of going to see lots of doctors and them just saying, it takes time. You're older. You'll feel better. You'll feel back to normal one day. And 6 months of that, and I found Optavia, which is what ultimately connected you and I, and started a different nutrition program, way of eating. And really within 2 weeks of being on plan and being in a fat burn, having more energy, less brain fog for sure. I quit getting a B12 shot, and I had been living on those that whole 6 months. So 2 weeks into program, that was February of 2019 was the last time I ever had a B12 shot. This is May 2023. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
The nutrition part. So when you kind of get that under control, like, there's a huge gut brain connection. And when you're eating healthier, you just can't help but start to think better. You see the world differently. So really, you actually, you probably don't even know this. This might have been 2021, I guess. You put together this mindset class for Optavia coaches, like with your friends that you grew up with, your life coaches, Donna and Cheryl. And I signed up and I came and I was one of the little Brady Bunch boxes. And it just sparked my interest. I mean, I was like, this is fascinating. So it really intrigued me to start learning more about ways to help make positive shifts in your life. And so I did some work with them leading up to meeting you last year in Dallas. And I don't even know if you remember this, but we were in the corner in that room and you were like, I've been working on something and it's about to go live, and it's this manifestation method. And, there's just all these other ways to help people feel better, right? Like, it's more than just eating healthy. It's all these other things that I remember, like, looking at you and just being in awe, because I was like, yes, like that's it. And I had kind of already in my own way been mulling that over and taking some classes and getting certified in some other things. And it was like, wow, she's going to do it. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so here we are a whole year later, and I'm doing it. And Energetically You is going live today.
Today? Are you kidding? I didn't even know.
Yes.
Oh, and you have,
so it's a big deal.
This
Such
is a big deal. I have the link, so I'm going to put the link up.
Okay.
I mean, holy, like, I am covered in goosebumps. I didn't realize it was going live today.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
You are putting it out there.
I
Oh, I'm so okay. I'm going
am.
to put the link up in a minute because I can't talk and do at the same time. So it's
Yeah.
it's so funny how when you're ready, and I, I think we both believe in God. We both believe in
Yes.
following a path. We both believe in listening and praying. And
Yeah.
when you do that, when you are ready, and it's so funny you said that about the nutrition. What you said about kind of the gut brain connection. I experienced the exact same thing. I'd been working, doing all the things, and my nutrition was not under control. My body was not healthy from the inside out. And even though I was trying. I'm sure you were trying to be a good mom. You were trying to
Oh,
do all
yeah.
these things. You were trying. It's not that we weren't trying. Not, it just didn't feel like we were engaged in our
Yes.
lives. That's how I felt. And
Me too.
so once you get that under control, and the brain fog goes away, you start to feel better, you have more energy, you just see the world. Mine was right around the 2-week period too. I remember saying to someone, colors are just brighter.
Yeah.
I was driving down the road, colors just seem brighter. Then it opens up so much more. And I think that's what you and I have experienced. It goes way beyond, looks and diets and plans and this.
Sure.
You now see a world of possibility. And that's what we discovered in that room 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. That's what we discovered. It was opening possibility. And I love that. I do remember talking to you, and I'll tell you what, at the time, saying it out loud, me saying this thing's about to go live, it's kind of like you just said there, right? Yes, I was excited, just like you are. I was so excited. But part of the reason I said it out loud was because I was scared witless of it too. I was so scared about what it meant, about what I was going to have to do. What the imposter syndrome was rife, like, who am I to do this? Who am I to say this? No one's going to care. Even if they do care, what if I can't deliver? Are these battles you have?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. I mean, every day you're like, oh man, are people going to think I'm crazy? Or is this like woo woo, like voodoo type stuff? But it's really not. It's truly, finding ways to shift your energy where you feel better and you show up better in the world. And some of it is stuff that like nobody even knows that you're doing it. Unless you share it with them. I mean, like today I'm wearing the Cinco de Mayo shirt, but I also know what these colors represent. Like purple is all about your intuition and like trusting your gut. Pink is a color of passion. It's a color of compassion, which are two things that I'm very passionate about this and like wanting to help other people live a better life, feel better in their own, in their own body, in their own mind. I mean, it's the only one we got, right? You want your experience here on earth to be as good as it possibly can. Let's see. White is a color of purity. And I definitely have a pure heart when it comes to this. I just want to share knowledge and help other people. It's crazy, but like nobody knows that. But when you know it yourself and you're putting something on for the day, it just kind of helps center you and get you in a good vibration to go out for the day and have a great day. So those are little tricks that can make such a difference.
I think before the past couple of years, I think everything that happened from COVID shifted people and people became a lot more open. Prior to COVID, I think we heard mindfulness a lot. Like that was a buzzword, some people meditated, some people didn't. Some people, talked about law of attraction, but it was, I love this. My husband's sending something to the printer and it's really loud.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like,
hey, my dogs could be barking in a little bit.
Right. I'm like, why is the printer starting up? all of we'd heard about things like that, but it was a little woo woo, right? I think now the more I listen to a lot of high performance podcasts, a lot of entrepreneur podcasts, a lot of get stuff done, but also have an impact, be a better person type podcasts. And I don't know if it's because I'm more open to it, receptive to it, because it's what I do, but I hear it more and more mainstream, whatever that is. But,
Right.
guys who are known to be effective in business and performance talking about the intersection of, fact and science and the woo woo. And they really are starting to do this. There's no more kind of this. They are starting to do this. And for those that want to be effective in their lives, that want to make every day count and really productivity, showing up, this is going to be vital.
Yeah.
Vital. And I don't know if you ever listened to Brendan Bashard. He's really great in this area. And
I love his performance planners too.
yes, I do. I love him. He's going to take out a restraining order against me at some point because, but he suffered from a really severe brain injury early in his career and had to recover from it. You need to listen to his stuff. He talks about it a lot, and came back from that, and that's where a lot of his work came from, and wanting to make an impact, and he does. I mean, he's incredible. So talk to me about, because I've always got so much to learn. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I'm sure you feel that this way too, but this energy is truly your passion. So talk to me a little bit about how increasing our energy, what we put out in the world, can have an impact on productivity, on success, on those around us, because it's a ripple effect, right? Do you feel a ripple effect? I always do.
Yes, for sure. I mean, you want everybody to show up as their best self, whether it's being a mom, it's showing up at work, it's tending to patients. Just recently, I actually had a family member in the hospital. And when you're in a hospital, you have multiple doctors that check on your condition. And then you actually have something called a hospitalist. And they are just doctors that see patients only when they're in the hospital. They don't have a clinic. They just oversee like the whole person. And one of the ones that I encountered was incredible. And he had come out of a different patient's room one day, and he just had this look on his face. And we had been there for several days at this point, so we're friends. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" He said, "Man, this patient is just breaking my heart. Like, there's no family here checking on this person. She's just not having any connection with anybody to help raise how she's feeling. She won't take her medicine, and she's not going to get better. She doesn't take her medicine. And like, I truly don't know what to do." And I mean, we're just having a conversation, and I'm like, "Have you ever heard of therapeutic music, like Hertz frequencies?" And he's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "You should look it up. Like, they play it in the NICU when people are intubated. Like, there's different frequencies that can do different things, from creating a sense of calmness in you, healing DNA, helping with depression, like all different things." But I'm like, again, the patient may not know that's what you're doing. You're just putting on some nice music for her, but it might help. And I mean, the look on his face, and he's a doctor, right? And I'm just a person having a conversation with him, but he was like, "I'm going to check it out," because again, he wants to help his patient feel better. And that to me was what you were just talking about mainstream and maybe a little more alternative coming together. And like, I walked away from that conversation just thinking, that felt so incredible. And then to even be able to look back, my first job out of college, I was a pharmaceutical rep, and I talked to doctors. That was my job all the time. And it could have been my age and, the difference in me speaking to a doctor, but it didn't always go well. And I would walk away feeling flustered and belittled. And so to have that conversation about something that could help another person, it was incredible. Like, so I mean, that's just one example of how you raising your energy helps somebody else.
And you know what it was? I think he probably felt he felt we talk about this all the time. Before you open your mouth, before people read body language even, they feel that energy coming from
Yes.
you. And that's the thing where you know when you can't put your finger on it, but you walk into a room and you just know something's off.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or you walk into a room and you feel good.
Yep.
Or you meet a person before they've even said a thing. You're like, I want to be around this person. You have that quality, by the way. Like that first time I met you, like I just wanted to,
Well, I
you
feel
know,
the
we
same
did. I
about
think we
you.
did. I think we like held each other's faces, you know,
Yeah.
and what you showed up with that doctor was a belief and a certainty. You were there, and you were there for the right reason, right? You were saying it for the right reason. It could help. And yeah, and it's so funny. I was about to say this, and our beautiful Yvette just said it. We are all connected, and we are. And I think what we're experiencing right now, you and I, and others that are doing this kind of work, is a raising of the collective consciousness. That's where this intersection is starting to happen now, and it's for the betterment of all. Because if we put out, you know, honestly, if no one watches this live of us, if no one watched it, it still will have an impact because of what we're putting out right now. I truly believe that because of how I feel, how excited I felt about sitting with you, how you feel, hopefully excited, you know,
Yeah.
we're sending that out into the collective, and people will benefit from that. And so, all right, so you talked about music.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, you started this in your own home. I know, kind of along with your beautiful quote, which I need you to share somewhere at some point. That the most important work you'll do with her is within the walls of your own home. You started this at home, like you kind of tested it out. Your own home was a guinea pig, really, for
Yeah.
some of these principles that you're going to teach people. Music's one of them. Can you, for me, you know, kind of increasing the energy in my home with two little girls and a lot of hectic, like, and others out there, can you give us some ideas of some little simple things we could do?
Well, we're all different. Okay. We have 7 energy centers that run up your spine, starting at the base of your spine and run up through the crown of your head. And they're tied to different organs and different emotions. So there's this amazing quiz that we have put together on the website that's super easy. You just go in and you answer some questions, but answering 4 yeses, 4 or more per energy center, shows that you have an imbalance in that particular energy center. So when you're done taking the quiz, it does all the calculations, and you will get in your email a list of, if you have any imbalances, what they are, and then what you can do to help those. So it's things like diffusing certain oils in your home, wearing certain colors, eating certain foods, speaking different affirmations over yourself. There's yoga poses for different energy centers, the music that we already talked about. I mean, we're all energy, and it's always changing, but sometimes from trauma, stored emotions, like the saying, disease is in the body, like it truly does get stuck sometimes, and we need ways to help get it moving again and get us back in flow. And then sometimes we don't even know that we're out of balance. You just don't feel like yourself, but you can't put your finger on it. So taking that easy quiz is a awesome way to kind of figure out where you are and then what you can do to help shift your energy.
So this is your website, energeticallyyou.com. Oh, I can't wait to click on it and see it. And I'm going to take the quiz today. So I take the quiz, something comes into my inbox, and then what are there ways to work with you?
There are. So we can
Okay.
we can connect one-on-one. You know, not everybody is open to that. So that's why there's lots of just free helpful tips on things that you can do on your own. And again, that goes back to just wanting to share knowledge and help others. So I get that everybody is at a different place. I mean, for a long time, my version and view of therapy and mindset coaching was like, well, you don't need that unless something's really wrong, which is so not true, right? But
Right.
I just wasn't at a place yet in my own life to realize how beneficial it could be. So that's why I wanted to offer both. Like, there's some free ones, and then if you want to explore more and do more, I'm down for it, because it's so fun. It's so cool to see those changes in yourself and to help someone else see them in their own life. It's pretty cool.
And you feel the shift. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel this way. I don't know if people say this to you. Okay, people say this to me a lot. I wrote an article on this, actually. It was about happiness and joy during turbulent times. I wish I'd known about your website at the time, because I could have put it in there as a resource. Now I'll be able to put it in comments. But and something I said in there is interesting. And I don't know if you hear this. People will say to me a lot, "You're just always happy. Like, why are you always so happy?" And it's usually the person who goes, "Why are you always so happy?" And I'm like, okay, they don't. Why are you always so happy? It's usually kind of a grumbly thing. But every time I hear it, I always pause and go, how do
I answer that?
How do I answer that question? And I reflected on it in this article, and I had to actually write it down. And part of it was, I'm not always happy, but I wake up every day and I choose to reset. I'm very in tune when I'm out of whack, when something doesn't feel right. And I have tools now, things I do to get me feeling better again, right? And I'll let myself wallow for a little bit, but not for long. And it's that age-old thing, when you wake up, you're in a bad mood, then you stub your toe, then you spill your coffee, then you get a flat tire, then right? It's like, how do you shift everything? And for kids, how do you shift the energy? So do you get asked that a lot? And are you always happy? And what do you do when you're not?
Well, I do get,
because I'm presuming you're not always happy.
No, I mean, nobody is always happy, but you can still find something to be happy about. Yes. But I agree with you. Like, in the morning before I get out of bed, I mean, counting your blessings, finding something that you're grateful for, like the fact that you opened your eyes and you have been given another day of life to live and breathe and love and show kindness to someone. Like, that's a gift. Like, thank you, Jesus. I have another day. So definitely I do that first thing every day. And then I do think having a routine and sticking to it makes such a difference. And I read Jesus Calling every morning. And years ago, when people would say, "Oh, do a devotional," I'm like, who has time for that? Like, you're so busy. But it really doesn't take long. I mean, I can read Jesus Calling while my coffee is, being poured into my cup. Like, it's just starting to develop those habits. So for me, connecting with God every day and getting centered before I start my day is huge. And then I do read a few other like devotionals. And again, they don't take long. Some are scripture based, some are positive thinking based, because I am a positive psychology practitioner. The majority of our thoughts per day, I mean, we have like 60,000 a day, and the 95% of them are happening subconsciously. Like, we don't even know that they're happening. So, and that little bit, that 5% that we are consciously doing, when you're doing something like, this is one of the ones I'm reading right now, A Year of Positive Thinking, but just a little blurb every day. But when you're making the conscious effort to do that and speaking positivity over you and into you or into your children, with repetition and routine, that becomes what you subconsciously think. And the majority of our thoughts are subconscious. So we want to have good ones. And you can
Mhm.
create that by doing things like this.
I love that. I love, and you just reminded me, because I don't plan these things. I had a beautiful bio to read out about you and all of your qualifications and just didn't. But everyone can go to your website and
We're good.
see, you can see all of her beautiful qualifications. But you are a practitioner in many, many areas. But you're right. I think a daily practice of gratitude, daily habits, making it where it doesn't require willpower anymore. It doesn't require, it's just part of who you are and what you do, raising that vibration, having go-to things. Are those, like that book you held up, are those resources on your website, or can you post them somewhere here?
Yeah, I can post it.
Yes, please, please. And because you are the queen of the most amazing quotes. And for my friends, if you want to follow Jaleesa, we'll tag her because she has some of the most amazing quotes. She just seeing your stuff lifts your day. And I love it.
Thank
I
you.
just love it.
Well, a good question to even ask yourself is like, how do you want to feel day in and day out? And for me, like, I want to have a feeling of peace and calmness in my body. And I didn't used to recognize, but now I do. Like when I don't feel that way, like say you open your email in the morning and you've got way too many, or your to-do list for the day is way too long. When you start to feel anxious and unsettled, or you're in more of that fight or flight type feeling, your heart's kind of racing, you kind of feel sweaty. Like those aren't feelings that I want to have in my body on a daily basis. They're not good for our nervous system. So when I start to recognize those things now, for me, I know how to bring me back is to get outside and to get grounded in nature. So it could even be just walking outside for a second and taking a deep breath, one lap around my neighborhood with my dogs, and just feeling the sunshine on me, hearing the birds chirp, smelling outdoor smells, whether it's cut grass, flowers, trees, pine needle, whatever. Like all those things have a way of grounding me back to the present and calming my body. But it's you kind of getting or wanting to explore what works for you.
I love that.
And how you want to feel, and then what you need to do on a daily basis to create that.
And that's key. When you said we do get to create this, we get to decide. Yes, the world comes at us. That's just inevitable. It's coming at you regardless. And that's what manifestation is. People always think that manifestation is some really weird thing. The word manifest just means to create, to make real, right? So it's all about creating. And we're creating whether we know we are or not. We're creating whether we intend to or not. So we might as well have some direction in what we're creating, right? That's how that's one of the things that drives me every day. If I'm going to be creating something, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And so I'm going to put your website up again, and I'm gonna I cannot believe it went live today. Do you love it?
So exciting. And so I'll just tell you a little bit of the backstory. When it comes up, the background behind the emblem for Energetically You is there's a lot of movement, and that's because our energy is always moving. And so and the colors in the website are all tied to the different energy centers. I mean, a lot of work and prep. I had a fabulous website designer. She's our dear friend Yvette, and she did an incredible job. And I'm so just, it kind of feels like you're having a baby. Like I'm finally doing this thing that I've kind of always wanted to do and share and help people in some way. And it's just, the timing was finally right. All the things in life leading up to here made it possible.
I am I cannot wait to check it out. I've been hearing about it behind the scenes and just waiting and it's when the timing is right, acting on it and trusting. And allowing. It's vital. And the fact that we get to wake up and do this, like this is what we do.
I know.
How cool is that? When you were back like pre-med and like, oh, I've got 8 years, and I was back law school, oh, like I never imagined like this would be what I would get to do.
Right? I know. I know. It feels
So
really
cool.
good.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw a quote the other day that was like, I really hope that you like what you do because you spend 5 of your 7 days, doing it. You need to love it. If you don't, make a change. Like you're never, as long as you're opening your eyes and you've been granted another day to live, right? You can make changes and you can start today. Shifting your energy and chasing dreams that you've kind of even forgotten you've had.
And it's sometimes it's not easy. You and I both listened to a podcast this morning that was about this, about the road less traveled, and it really had an impact on me because it was a reminder that sometimes pursuing your passion, even though it's right and everything is aligned, it's not easy. The fear, the doubt, the imposter, but to know that at the end of your life, you did something that mattered to you and had an impact, and it wasn't a life of regret. That's the important thing, right?
Yes.
No life of regret.
I attended a funeral, I think it was 2 years ago, for a dear friend's father, and they were talking about the dash. And I mean, it really got me because it's like, what are you doing with your dash? Are you doing all the things that, you said you wanted to do before life happened? Like if you're not, go figure it out. Go
figure it out. There's a lot that can be done. You are making a huge impact. I am like beyond in awe of you, honored to know you. I love you. I can't wait till we can actually see each other again in person. We keep missing each other. We keep missing each other. And
well, from the bottom of my heart, like you really inspired me to even, I mean, you starting all the things with Donna and Cheryl is kind of what has opened up all these doors. Just from you wanting to share knowledge that you'd found to help someone else. And I was one of the people that benefited from it. So thank you so much.
We're all doing this together, and you're welcome, and thank you for making my life better, and thank you for agreeing to do this. It was a leap of faith.
Well, and thank you for realizing that I'm still a mom, because we were supposed to do this last week, and then I had a kid that had to run a race that her mama had to be at. So thank you.
No, that's our lives. We get to do this. Well, have a beautiful day. I'm going to link things for everyone so they know how to reach you and get the website and all of that fun stuff. And today is the day, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
Bye.